I never thought my own sister would be the one to stab me in the back. It was a chilly October evening in Seattle, the kind where the leaves crunch underfoot and the air smells like rain. I had driven across town to my parents' house for our monthly family dinner, a tradition I had cherished since I was a kid. I even brought Mom's favorite lemon pound cake, the one I had spent all afternoon baking, hoping to make her smile. We were supposed to laugh, reminisce, and maybe argue a little over who got the last slice of pie, just like always. But instead of warmth, I got a cold, calculated betrayal. Lauren, my older sister, looked me dead in the eye and announced she was moving into my condo, my sanctuary, the one I had scrimped and saved for 6 long years to buy. No discussion, no respect, just entitlement. And the worst part? My parents nodded along like it was the most natural thing in the world. They thought I would just take it, like I always had. But they forgot one thing. I was not the same Emily anymore. What you are about to hear is not just a story. It is the moment I stopped being their doormat. The rain tapped gently against the windows of my parents' cozy Seattle home, creating a soothing backdrop for what was supposed to be a pleasant family gathering. Inside, the smell of roast chicken and garlic mashed potatoes filled the air, and the dining table was set with Mom's best china. It was the kind of evening that usually made me feel safe, loved, and connected to my family. But tonight, something felt off. I sat across from Lauren, my older sister, who had always been the golden child. Her long, wavy hair was perfectly styled, and she wore a designer sweater that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Next to her was Noah, our younger brother, the free spirit who could do no wrong in our parents' eyes. He was fiddling with his phone, probably texting one of his many admirers. Mom and Dad sat at the head of the table, smiling and chatting as if everything was perfectly normal. But it was not. For years, I had been the middle child, the one expected to be independent and accommodating, while Lauren's artistic talents were celebrated with gallery showings and endless praise. My achievements as a 32-year-old graphic designer were met with a pat on the back and a, "That is nice, dear." Noah, the baby, was always excused from responsibility because he was finding himself. My condo in Capitol Hill was my haven, a symbol of my independence. I had saved for 6 years, taking on extra freelance gigs and skipping vacations. Just to afford it, it was filled with my art supplies, my books, and the cozy armchair where I would spend hours designing. But tonight, that sanctuary was under threat. Lauren announced, with a casual flick of her hair, "I have decided to leave, Jake. And since you have that extra room, Emily, it makes sense for me to stay with you until I get back on my feet." I stared at her, my heart pounding. "Wait, what? You are moving into my condo without asking me?" Lauren rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on, Emily. It is not like you are using that spare room for anything important. Besides, family helps family, right?" I looked to my parents for support, but Mom smiled brightly. "It is perfect. Emily, Lauren needs a place, and you have the space," Dad added. "We have discussed it, and it is settled. She will move in next weekend." My stomach churned. They had disregarded my boundaries before, giving my address to relatives without asking, volunteering me for family duties. But this was my home. I felt a tightness in my chest, years of being overlooked, boiling over. Then something snapped. "No," I said quietly. "Lauren cannot move in." The room fell silent. Lauren's eyes widened. Mom's smile faltered, and Dad's face turned red. "What do you mean?" "No," he demanded. "My condo is my home," I said, my voice trembling but firm. "I deserve to decide who lives there. You cannot make that decision for me." Lauren scoffed. "You are always at work anyway." That is not the point. I shot back. It is my space, and I deserve respect. Dad slammed his fist on the table. You are being selfish. Emily, your sister needs you. I stood, my chair scraping the floor. No, Dad, I am not. I love Lauren, but I love myself too. If she needs a place, she can find somewhere else. As I grabbed my coat and headed for the door, Mom pleaded, Emily, let us talk. But I could not stop. Stepping into the rainy night, I felt anger, sadness, and a flicker of pride. I had finally stood up for myself. Driving home, I knew this was just the beginning. Lauren and my parents would not give up easily. They had a plan, and I was about to find out how far they would go. As I drove back to my condo that night, the rain blurring the streetlights into hazy orbs, my mind raced with a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and a strange sense of liberation churned inside me. I had finally stood up to my family, but the cost was a rift that I was not sure how to mend. Yet, as I pulled into my parking spot and looked up at the warm glow of my living room window, I felt a surge of protectiveness. This was my home, my sanctuary, and I was not going to let anyone take that away from me. Inside, I kicked off my shoes and sank into my favorite armchair, the one I had found at a flea market, and reupholstered myself. The condo was small but perfect for me. A cozy living room with a view of the Space Needle, a kitchen where I could experiment with new recipes, and a bedroom that was my personal retreat. But it was more than just a place to live. It was a testament to my hard work and determination. I remembered the day I signed the lease, how proud I felt to have achieved something on my own. Unlike Lauren, who had always relied on our parents' generosity, or Noah, who seemed content to drift through life. I had clawed my way to this point. I had worked 2 jobs during college, sacrificed weekends to take on extra design projects, and saved every penny I could. This condo was my reward, my proof that I could make it without handouts. But my family had never seen it that way. To them, I was the reliable one, the one who did not need help because I always managed. Lauren was the artist, the one who needed coddling and support. Noah was the baby, forever excused from responsibility. And me, I was just Emily, the middle child who was expected to be okay with whatever was thrown at her. I picked up my phone and dialed my best friend, Sarah. She answered on the second ring, her voice warm and concerned. Hey, Em, how was dinner? I took a deep breath and told her everything. Sarah listened patiently, occasionally interjecting with sympathetic noises. When I finished, she said, Oh, Emily, I am so sorry. That is awful, but you did the right thing by standing up for yourself. I know, I said, but it feels terrible. They are my family. And now there is this huge wall between us. Family does not get a free pass to disrespect you, Sarah replied firmly. You have every right to protect your space. Maybe this will be a wake-up call for them. I hoped she was right, but deep down, I feared that this was just the beginning of a long battle. My family was not used to me saying no, and they would not give up easily. That night, as I lay in bed, I could not stop thinking about how conflicted I felt. I loved my family, but I was tired of always being the one to sacrifice. For once, I wanted them to see me, not just as the dependable middle child, but as someone with her own needs and limits. As sleep finally took me, I resolved to hold firm, no matter what came next. The days after the dinner were a storm of family pressure. It started with Lauren's text, Hey sis, I get that you are upset, but I really need a place to stay. Jake and I are done, and I cannot afford rent on my own. Please, can we talk? I stared at it. guilt gnawing at me. But I typed back, "I am sorry. Lauren, but my answer is still no. I can help you find other options, but you cannot stay with me." Her reply was sharp. Wow, I thought family was supposed to help each other. Guess I was wrong. Then Mom called, her voice dripping with that familiar guilt trip tone. "Emily, sweetheart, Lauren is struggling. Cannot you help her?" Just for a little while, I explained again that it was not about refusing help. It was about my boundaries. But she sighed and said, "We thought you would understand. You're always so responsible." I hung up feeling drained, her words echoing in my mind. But the real blow came a few nights later. I was unwinding with a glass of wine when there was a knock on my door. Peering through the peephole, I saw Lauren standing there with a suitcase. My stomach dropped. I opened the door a crack. "Lauren, what are you doing here?" She looked at me with a mix of defiance and desperation. "I figured you would come around. I do not have anywhere else to go. Emily, please, just let me in." I took a deep breath, my heart racing. "No, Lauren, I told you. You cannot stay here. You need to respect my decision." Her eyes filled with tears, and she snapped, "You are being so selfish. I thought we were sisters." Her words cut deep, but I stood firm. "We are. But that does not mean you can walk all over me. Please, go." She hesitated, then turned and stormed off. Dragging her suitcase behind her, I closed the door and leaned against it, shaking. Had I been too harsh? The guilt was overwhelming, but I knew giving in would mean losing the one thing I had fought so hard for, my independence. The next day, the family escalated their tactics. My phone buzzed with calls from aunts and uncles, all pleading Lauren's case. My grandmother emailed about family unity. Even Noah texted, though his was more neutral. "Hey, Em, this sucks. Hope you are okay." It felt like the whole clan was against me, and I started to doubt myself. Maybe I was the selfish one. But then I remembered Sarah's words and the way Lauren had shown up uninvited. This was not just about helping. It was about them refusing to see me as a person with rights. I poured my frustration into work, sketching designs late into the night, trying to drown out the noise. Still, the pressure was mounting, and I knew a bigger confrontation was coming. After Lauren's unannounced visit, I knew I had to take action. The guilt trips and family pressure were not going to stop unless I made it clear I was serious. The next morning, I called my condo's management office and asked about changing my locks. They agreed it was within my rights as a tenant, and by the end of the day, I had a new set of keys in hand. It felt like a small victory, a tangible step toward protecting my space. I also booked another session with my therapist. Sitting in her calm, quiet office, I spilled everything: the dinner, Lauren's suitcase, the barrage of family calls. She nodded thoughtfully and said, "Emily, your family has been conditioned to see you as the fixer. By saying no, you are disrupting that pattern, and they are pushing back because it is unfamiliar, but your boundaries are valid." She suggested I write a letter to my family, laying out my feelings and expectations clearly. It was a way to communicate without the heat of an argument. That night, I sat at my kitchen table, pen in hand, and wrote, "Dear family, I love you all, but I need you to understand that my condo is my home, not a solution to everyone's problems. I'm happy to support Lauren in other ways, helping her find a place or covering some costs, but I will not let my boundaries be ignored. Please respect my decision." I mailed it the next day, feeling a mix of relief and dread. Would they see it as an olive branch or another betrayal? Then came an unexpected twist. I got a call from Jake, Lauren's ex. He sounded nervous. "Emily, I need to tell you something. Lauren has been lying. I kicked her out because she cheated, not because she left me. She's got money saved. She's just playing the victim to guilt you." I was stunned. "Why tell me this now?" "Because I hate seeing her manipulate you," he said. "You do not deserve it." His words lit a fire in me. Lauren was not helpless. She was entitled, armed with this. I decided to confront my family. But on my terms, I texted them. "We need to talk. Cafe near my place. Saturday, 2 p.m. Please come ready to listen." The rest of the week, I prepared. I rehearsed what I would say, leaned on Sarah for moral support, and even started a journal to process my emotions. By Saturday, I felt stronger than ever. I was not just defending my condo, I was defending myself. Saturday arrived, and I walked into the cafe with my head held high. My family was already there. Mom, Dad, Lauren, and Noah, sitting around a table, looking uneasy. I sat down and took a deep breath. "Thanks for coming. I have some things to say." I started with the letters' points, explaining how their assumptions hurt me and why my condo was non-negotiable. Then I dropped the bombshell. I talked to Jake. He told me Lauren has been lying. She cheated, and he kicked her out. She's not broke. She's just avoiding responsibility. Lauren's face crumpled. "That is not fair. Emily." "Is it true?" Dad interrupted, his voice stern. She nodded, tears spilling. "Yes, I messed up. I was too ashamed to tell you, so I made it sound worse than it was." Mom looked devastated. "Lauren, why did not you trust us?" "I thought you would hate me," she whispered. I softened a little but stayed firm. "I get that you are hurting, Lauren, but you cannot fix it by taking over my life. And Mom, Dad, you cannot keep expecting me to pick up the pieces." Dad sighed. "You are right, Emily. We did not think about how this affected you. We are sorry." Noah grinned. "Told you she's not a pushover anymore." The tension broke a little, and I laid out my terms. "I will help Lauren find an apartment, but my condo is off limits." They agreed, albeit reluctantly. Lauren apologized, her voice small but sincere. "I am sorry. I was selfish." Over the next month, things shifted. Lauren moved into a studio, and I helped her budget. My parents started checking in with me, not just about family crises, but about my life. Noah and I bonded over coffee, laughing about our crazy clan. One evening, I stood in my condo, watching the Seattle skyline glow. The fight had been brutal, but it taught me something vital. Self-respect is not selfish. It is necessary. My family was not perfect, but we were learning. And for the first time, I felt truly at home, not just in my condo, but in myself. Family can be both our greatest source of love and our deepest source of pain. As we age beyond 65, we often settle into familiar roles: the peacemaker, the helper, the one who always says yes. Yet, Emily's story offers a powerful lesson. It is never too late to rewrite that script. Setting boundaries is not about pushing loved ones away. It is about honoring the space we have earned through decades of hard work and sacrifice. It is declaring, "I love you, but I also love myself." A statement not of selfishness, but of self-preservation. Emily's transformation from a pushover to someone who asserts her needs shows that standing up for ourselves may feel uncomfortable, even like a betrayal. At first, but it is an act of courage, one that can foster deeper, more authentic connections for those who have spent a lifetime prioritizing others. This is a vital truth. Self-respect matters, and claiming it can redefine how we are loved, not just for what we do, but for who we are. In our later years, as family dynamics shift, Emily's journey reminds us that tough love and personal growth can coexist. paving the way for relationships that truly endure.